Yeah, I'm Dave Sudia. I'm a senior product engineer here at Teleport. I specifically oversee our machine and workload identity product. I used to be a DevOps and platform engineer, and one of the reasons I was really excited to join Teleport was I kind of wondered where this product had been all my life. I was this kind of thing I would have bought, and now I get to help build it. Yeah, absolutely. So we felt like we needed to make a market for this, right? Infrastructure identity for us is every single thing we do is based on short-lived X509 certificate identities. There are no secrets or long-lived tokens or anything like that in our system. And we used to kind of call ourselves somewhere in the PAM solution market or something like that, and then people would see it and go, well, this isn't that. And we're like, yeah, we're something different. And needed to come up with a word for it. But the idea is that everything in your system, every piece of infrastructure you want to protect, every human, every machine that want to access those resources, all have certificate identities. And so we are an infrastructure identity platform. And that just makes us, just inherently superior to anything that's based on any kind of long-lived secret, because we get rid of all of those. Identity breaches are more common now than technical vulnerability breaches. Last year in Internet Archive, someone got one single GitHub repo that had an auth token. They used that to get all the other repos that had more auth tokens, and you able to pivot like that, and we solved those problems. Yeah, kind of related to the last question, I think it's all about those long-lived secrets, right? You have to have key pairs for AWS and service account JSONs for GCP, and if you have things that need to access both, you got to move those around. We have one customer that we've been working with on our machine and workload identity product that automatically rotates certificates for CI/CD systems and other automated processes. And they were told by their auditor that they needed to rotate their tokens at least every 2 years. 2 years is a long time. And they went and looked at the system and went, if we only did it every 2 years, we still do not have enough person hours to do that. That's how many tokens we have out there. And we're able to take that to an automatic system that rotates those certificates every 20 minutes, right? And yeah, it's getting a handle on what you have, all of your identities, and then figuring out some kind of system to secure them. And again, that's kind of where we come in. Yeah, so you might also consider this just-in-time access, least privileged access, right? The reason we're calling it task-based is that we don't want anyone or any machine to have access in your system unless they're doing work, right? So for a human, that is, I'm accessing this Kubernetes cluster, and maybe you give them standing privileges to dev, but maybe you don't. Maybe everything is not standing, because you can make very quick to approve requests for access in Teleport, and it's not actually really a roadblock. Right, for an automated process like a CI/CD system, what that looks like is, there's again no key pair that's stored there. It needs to run against, provision some infrastructure. If this job is going to take 5 minutes, it gets a certificate that's good for 6 minutes, right? That it gets when it starts, and it TTLs very shortly after, and there's no access for that thing except when it's doing the job, and that's one of the big philosophies behind the product. Yeah, you can only have true zero trust when you get rid of tokens, right? Like if you have anything that could be shared around and swapped, then that is a thing that you, in the end, can't really trust. And to trust something, eventually to say, okay, yes, I'm going to make this connection, it has to have an identity. And everything we do is based on that. If you want to join in a piece of infrastructure, you do it based off of metadata that you know about the thing, like an AWS EC2 instance assumed role, or a TPM hash, right? Like an actual physical key that you can trust. And on the human side, right, you have identity that gets brought in about who that person is, or the machine, machines that access things are brought in the same way. Everything has an identity. And once you get rid of those tokens and you have a specific identity for every single thing, then you can make these direct connections between things, right? No bastions, no VPNs, no trusted network. Direct connections with confirmed certificate identities that are valid. Yeah, we have some exciting products that we're launching this year. One is called Identity Security, and as a DevOps platform engineer, the challenge for me was I can write a lot of YAML that are about roles, but I don't always know that they're doing what I intend, right? And you end up with these things where you write a role that gives access to 50 more buckets than you thought it was. And what Identity Security allows you to do is visualize every single role and set of access in your system. And it really lets you reason about the things you've created in a way that it's hard when it's just text. The other one is within our machine and workload identity product, we are now supporting the SPIFFE standard for workload identities that can be used for direct workload to workload access outside of our proxy system, but also the main place we're seeing people adopt it is in AWS Roles Anywhere and Azure Entra for workload identity, and managing all of these cross-cloud or hybrid situations where you can swap one of these for a cloud identity, and we're really excited about both of those.